about the need for us to proceed with our plan to bring a world-class transit system to all parts of our city. I believe that the staff report before us is the right plan for the right time. We need to keep momentum of LRT construction advancing in Ottawa. Nous devons maintenir le momentum.
We need to keep momentum for the construction of the LRT in Ottawa.
Residents want us to proceed with this plan. Staff are telling Council the plan is affordable, and I'm convinced that everyone around the table knows that delaying this procurement will not only delay us further, it will also end up costing more money down the road. Now, some members of Council have been critical of the longer construction timelines. It's quite obvious to me that members of Council and residents want realistic timelines, and that is what we are getting with this procurement. I'm happy to hear that staff believe we have a realistic, well-considered schedule that will allow an orderly and efficient rollout of service. You can't be disappointed that the winning proponents aren't recommending longer, more realistic timelines and yet want to delay the procurement process. How far back would that push completion of Stage 2 extensions? I believe the results of this procurement offer real value for money, a competitive cost per kilometre of rail, a realistic schedule, and a more robust project agreement that will protect taxpayers. This will result in a world-class design that will ensure our entire light rail system can deliver improved reliability, we've heard a lot about that recently, and service to residents across the city. Ottawa will be home to 1 million people this year. Think about that for a moment. Stage 2 will bring 77% of those residents within 5 kilometres of convenient and environmentally friendly train service. No car needed to get downtown or to the airport or to college or university or the Via Rail station or to a number of shopping and cultural destinations in our city. And once Stage 2 is built, for Stage 3 we only have about 20 more kilometres left to get to both Canada, Stittsville and Barrhaven, completing the city's ultimate plan for LRT. Stage 2 gets us 75% of the way there, and Stage 3 will finish the job, meeting the future needs of residents for more generations to come. Stage 2 is a necessary investment in a sustainable future for our city. L'étape 2 est un investissement essentiel.
Stage 2 is a necessary investment for a more sustainable future for our city.
Staff recommendations before us set the stage for the City of Ottawa to transition to a transit future that we can all be proud of. On March 6, I will urge all members of Council to support the staff recommendations to proceed with at the procurement of Stage 2. Let's get on with the job of modernizing our transit infrastructure. It seems to me quite obvious that if we do nothing or choose to delay, things will not get any better or cheaper over the coming years, both for transit users and commuters. I strongly urge you to proceed with this historic investment in our transit future. Now I'd like to turn it over to staff for an outline of the report recommendations and the long-term affordability of this project. We'll then receive public delegations and have an opportunity to ask questions after the public delegations. And today we will only vote on the first recommendation to receive and refer this report to Council on March 6th for further discussions and considerations. If members have any motions, they're to be dealt with at the March 6th Council meeting, and we urge you to get them to the City Clerk's office so we can have staff look at them. And just for the sake of all of your calendars, if our meeting on March 6th goes over time, the spillover date for Council will be Friday, March 8th. So with that, Mr. Katalakis, are you offering a comment?
No, Mr. Mayor. We're going to turn it over to Chris Swale, who's going to do the presentation with Isabel Jasmine from our Finance Department, Deputy Treasurer.
Okay, Mr. Swale.
Thank you and good afternoon. Also joining us here at the table along with the senior leadership team is Michael Morgan, who's the Director of Rail Construction, and also to my right is Jeffrey Gilbert, who is both our legal and our procurement advisor from Norton Rose Fulbright. The Stage 2 contracts that we're here to present today and will be before Council for approval next week represent a historic moment for the City of Ottawa. And I'm extremely privileged to have been part of the team to have built what we believe is a very successful procurement process. As I said Friday, I want to start by taking us back to the beginning, and I want to look at some of the dynamics that played a key part in the procurement results. The first has to do with scope. When Stage 2 was first conceived back in 2013, it consisted of 30 kilometers of rail and 19 stations. The core Stage 2 program would extend the Stage 1 Confederation line east from Blair to Place d'Orleans and from Tunney's Pasture in the west to both Bayshore and Baseline Station at Algonquin College. While 2 new stations at Gladstone and Walkley Road were always part of the project's scope, the rest of the planned extension of Trillium Line was conceived a bit as a bolt-on project, extending from Greenboro, where the line terminates today, to Beausville Road. With additional funding from our provincial and federal partners, Stage 2 program evolved first to include an extension from Place d'Orleans to Trim, and an airport link extension with 2 additional stations, one at the Ernst & Young Center and one integrated with the airport terminal itself. In addition to this, in March 2017, without increasing our capital budgets, we moved to extend LRT from Bayshore to Moody, and we did this to keep the station footprint at Bayshore constrained by having a majority of transfers take place at a new Moody terminus station. And second, Moody created an opportunity to look for a better site to provide the extra vehicle storage we needed. The other move the city undertook was an alignment adjustment with Trillium Line that took greater advantage of the existing rail corridor farther to the south. This shift made it possible to run LRT an additional 3.4 kilometers farther from Beausville Road west to the west side of Limebank. The city also took full advantage of the design, build, finance, and maintain procurement structure Council directed to move forward with in 2017 to leverage the model not to simply deliver the extensions, but to also take on additional scope to improve the performance and ensure the integration of the existing line with the O-Train network. With this model, proponents had to build not just the extensions, but also had to take responsibility for all the Trillium Line assets, both new and existing, and be accountable such that the system could perform seamlessly and reliably from end to end to 2048. One of the key Stage 2 dynamics is this significant increase in scope that saw the city go from an LRT project that was initially estimated to cost $3 billion and consisting of 30 kilometers of track to a project that grew by nearly 50% in reach to have 44 kilometers of new rail. And as a result, a project that went from having 19 new stations initially to a project with 24 new stations. And reach is the right word to use, as Stage 2 originally would have placed 70% of all residents within 5 kilometers of LRT, but with this increase, we will have 77% of all of our residents within 5 kilometers of this world-class transit system. Now, while we adopted significant scope without increasing our estimate, and the reason why we did this was the fact that like Waterloo, like Eglinton, like Eglinton Crosstown in Toronto, the Stage 1 Confederation Line project achieved approximately 20% cost compression through its use of this P3 procurement model. And based on this experience, the city wanted to try and get as much cost compression from Stage 2 as possible. In the context of a $3.3 billion procurement, we set a target of $330 million. Just 10% because of some of the project's complexities made it challenging to achieve as high a degree of cost compression. Still, calibrating for cost compression was a factor in how the city set budgets for both Trillium Line and Confederation Line extension projects to try and get as much value as possible for Ottawa residents. I want to also review the procurement structure that Council approved in 2017. Key to this was Council's decision to responsibilities and all of the assets along the expanded line to 2048. With this agreement in place, the Confederation Line extension was to be structured as a design, build, finance, or DBF contract for both the east and west extensions. For Trillium Line, Council chose a design, build, finance, and maintain procurement, or DBFM, with a proponent constructing both the extensions to Limebank and the airport. They would also take on all of the existing infrastructure, including the upgrades to the existing stations, and they would be responsible for service availability as well as the maintenance across the entire expanded line, including vehicles. Critical to the procurement structure Council chose was its ability to do 3 things. First, it provided for seamless integration of the east and west extensions into the existing Confederation Line. Second, it ensured we had a single maintainer that would be responsible for service availability on each line. And third, it created a competitive environment for the Confederation Line procurement. An extensive market sounding showed that without RTG agreeing to step away from competing for this contract extension, the likelihood of achieving any competitive tension i.e. having anyone else compete for this bid, was pretty much nothing or nil in a procurement of over $2 billion. So that was March 2017. Today, the total booked commitments, as the mayor mentioned, for Stage 2 amount to over $600 million. The biggest share of this are costs associated with the 38 vehicle purchase, which Council approved the authority to execute back in March 2017. And currently, the Stage 2 fleet is expected to be complete and ready for testing and commissioning by 2021. The other component of the agreement with RTG was for the expansion of the Belfast MSF. To provide for uninterrupted assembly of the additional vehicles, RTG built an additional MSF facility and expanded storage capacity to 66. Today, construction is nearly complete, with some remaining communications work to be completed in the coming months. Another big part of the RTG agreement is the maintenance pricing that we achieved, but I'm going to come back to that a little bit later. Taking what we've learned on Stage 1 and improving how we delivered Stage 2 has been a key consideration for our team. Some of the applied lessons learned we took on include improvements to penalties for late notification. So here we still allow for schedule flexibility, but we've added financial penalties for contractors if they do not provide enough appropriate notification for not meeting any target completion dates. Simply put, the closer to their completion date that they notify us they will be late, the larger the penalty. For example, if a Stage 2 proponent provided notification in the same fashion as RTG has done to date, they would be responsible for well under $10 million in penalties to the city. We also took stock of Stage 1 contingency costs and made sure that anything that could be anticipated in Stage 2 were properly budgeted and included in our base scope. We also adjusted the payment regime to monthly earned value construction payments, giving greater flexibility to the contractor to manage their schedule while maintaining strong fiscal discipline within each contract agreement. We bundled city infrastructure projects and project enhancements with Stage 2 to benefit from the full risk transfer, cost, and schedule certainty. And we also expanded mobility matters to include pedestrians and cyclists. Turning to some of the recent procurement timelines, since the approval of the MOU with RTG, we released the RFQ, we ordered the Confederation Line vehicles, we released the RFP, followed in September of 2017 by ordering work to commence the expanded Belfast Yard, and late last year, the RFP closed. And turning to today and the upcoming dates that are before Council, we have the 2 recommended preferred proponents, and if approved, we will then proceed to commercial close by the end of March and early April, with construction starting on both projects later this summer. So, now I want to go through the results of 3 years of careful planning and work on the part of the city, as well as renderings and details from the winning submissions, who are 2 top-ranked teams who will make Stage 2 a reality. As has been announced, the recommended contractor for Confederation Line is East-West Connectors, or EWC. EWC represents a world-class team of design, engineering, and construction companies with extensive experience on light rail transit systems. Through this joint venture partnership, Kiewit, along with Vinci, will lead the overall project with design engineering services provided by WSP and Hatch. This team's extensive individual experience includes Vancouver Skyway, the ION project in Waterloo, the extension of Montreal's light rail system into Laval, and the South Europe high-speed rail and the Lucille LRT project. Transit Next, or T-Next, has been selected to build and maintain the extended Trillium line. As the mayor mentioned, T-Next is a wholly owned subsidiary of SNC Lavalin, a global fully integrated project management company. SNC is experiencing delivering integrated infrastructure projects on every continent. They're our partner on Confederation Line. The other projects under construction include REM in Montreal and Eglinton Crosstown in Toronto. Completed projects to date also include Canada Line, the Evergreen Line, and the Calgary West LRT. I'd now like to take you through the station highlights taken from East-West Connector's winning bid. To provide a little variety from Friday's presentation, I've tried to mix it up a little bit. And I should note that the stations will be built to the same standards, design principles, and the mobility requirements as Stage 1 Confederation Line. They will be well integrated with the neighborhoods they serve and will improve connectivity for all modes, functioning as key transportation hubs in many ways. All will have sufficient day one bike parking that can be expanded, and their features will ensure accessibility as well as the ability to support the city's growth goals for public transit and ridership. So let's take a look at EWC's vision for a new Confederation line. The first station west of Tunney's along the old rail trench is Westboro Station, which will be converted to an LRT station where it exists today to the north of Scott Street between Tweedsmuir and Athlone. The new main entrance will be located on Scott Street with an additional entrance on the north to facilitate bus transfers. Similar to Tunney's pasture, the existing transitway trench will be converted to accommodate LRT with passengers connecting to the LRT platform below the fare gates. Give you a switch, you'll see yeah, there we are down in the trench, and then we'll click again. The next station to the west is Dominion Station, which will be a new LRT station located where the bus stops are today between Dominion Avenue and Berkeley. The station's public entrance plaza, which is also designed to improve connectivity across the guideway, linking pedestrians and cyclists from Dominion Avenue to Workman Avenue, with direct connection to the NCC and city pathways that connect to Westboro Beach and the NCC's future linear waterfront park. In addition, kiss and ride spaces will be conveniently located near the station plaza on Dominion Avenue. One of the design changes made during the in-market period was to reorient Cleary Station as a new open-air station with the platforms located below the existing grade within the Byron Linear Park between Cleary and Sherbourne. This shift was done for technical and cost-saving purposes and to better accommodate long-term city planning considerations. I want to take a little bit of time here to address suggestions in the media today that no one was aware of this potential change. So for the last couple of years, Councillor Leeper has been heading a working group for this station made up of representatives from both adjacent condo boards, the Unitarian Church, McKellar Park Community Association, and a few other interested residents. The group was made aware that during the in-market period, we had introduced flexibility for proponents to make this shift into the park, and we made them aware last May. And on October 14th of last year, I had the opportunity to present an update to the McKellar Park Community Association at a public meeting, and at that point I also informed residents that not only had this change been made available to proponents to pursue, it was likely going to be the selected option. But it wasn't until we had a proponent on board that we could confirm that, which we did with this report. But back to the station. The single station entrance and plaza will be well integrated with the planned functions of Byron Linear Park and the pathway. All station facilities and system support spaces will be completely below grade, except for the fare paid entrance, which you can see there on that slide. Farther west, New Orchard Station is a new station also located within the Byron Linear Park, just east of New Orchard Avenue. New Orchard Station is also being designed to fit into the planned function of the park and will serve the community of Wood Park. When construction is complete, the train will run beneath an enhanced Byron Linear Park that has more trees, improved pathways, public art, and additional plaza space for local events and public enjoyment. Like Cleary, New Orchard Station will also be constructed as an open-air station, and the platforms will be located below with fare-paid entrance and emergency exit at the existing grade. In effect, Cleary and New Orchard stations will mirror each other like bookends at either end of the park where the alignment comes in. Lincoln Field Station will be reoriented and completely rebuilt to function as a new LRT transfer station. The train platform will be located under Carling Avenue with a fare-paid connection to the bus facility to allow passengers to transfer without having to go through fare gates. The passenger pickup and drop-off spaces currently will be where they are currently will be relocated and segregated from the fare-paid zone with access from Carling Avenue. Lincoln Fields will have 3 entrances: an entrance from Carling Avenue, an entrance from the pathway west of the alignment, and an entrance from the bus loop. This major transfer station will be outfitted with public washrooms and will have provisions for future retail. A new pedestrian crossing will also be provided to improve station access across Carling Avenue. South of Lincoln Fields is where the alignment splits, so we'll head west first. So the next station is Queensview Station. This is a new station located north of Highway 417 and southwest of the Pinecrest Bus Garage. It will have a single entrance that will be created with a new pedestrian bridge spanning the 417 to Baxter Road. This bridge will provide a significant new connection to retail amenities, bringing the communities north of and south of the highway closer together. The entry plaza will be accessed from improved MUPS and sidewalk connections to Queensview Drive and the community of Queensway Terrace North. Pinecrest Station, which is the next station down the line, will shift south from where it is now to the LRT alignment just north of the 417. A bus route from Pinecrest Road to the station's bus stop location and a bus turnaround will also be provided. The station will be connected to Pinecrest Road and Du Maurier Avenue by MUPS, with passenger drop-offs located on Du Maurier. Bayshore Station is currently located adjacent to Bayshore Shopping Center and Highway 417. The station will be converted to serve as a transfer station and is designed to ensure efficient passenger flows between local buses and trains within a fare-paid zone. The platform will be located to provide convenient access to the surrounding community and a direct connection to Bayshore Shopping Center by way of the existing overhead pedestrian bridge. Pedestrian connections will be strengthened with new and improved MUPS, as well as an improved sidewalk to Woodridge Crescent. Moody Station will also be an LRT transfer station at the western terminus of the Confederation Line, located between Corkstown Road and the eastbound off-ramp of Highway 417, just east of Moody Drive. The station will also accommodate for direct and rapid movements of passengers between local buses and trains, and it will serve the adjacent community of Crystal Beach, Lakeview, as well as the nearby D&D campus. MUPS and a sidewalk will direct customers to the plaza for entrance to the station. The station will enhance access to cherished green spaces such as Wesley Clover Park, Crystal Beach, Crystal Bay area, and the NCC Greenbelt. Just on the other side of Moody is where the new light maintenance and storage facility will be located between Corkstown Road and Highway 417. The track connection from the Moody station passes under the existing Moody Drive Highway 417 interchange, with new structures required at both westbound on-ramps and Moody Drive itself. This facility will be used for light maintenance and storage, while the westerly extension to the LMSF will initially split. We go to the next stop south of Lincoln Fields, which is Iris Station. So currently Iris Station is a bus stop located at Iris and the existing transitway. This will become a station that will be located below the level of Iris Street and will be accessed from the sidewalk and bus stops located off a new Iris Street bridge. And the station entrance plaza on the east and west side of the guideway will be provided to safely accommodate both pedestrian and cycling traffic. Moving farther south, Baseline Station is a station that was future-proofed for light rail conversion with an existing tunnel. The station will serve as the southwest terminus of the Confederation Line and will be located between College Avenue and Navajo Drive, beneath the Landscape Plaza just to the west of Algonquin's ACE building. The new fare-paid facility will allow the existing transitway station to be decommissioned and reduced to only bus traffic lanes, with the remaining area landscaped with improved pedestrian and cycling connections. This major transfer station will have public washrooms available to customers and will have the provisions for future retail. The new pedestrian bridge will allow passengers safe and direct access to the ACCE building and to the existing pedestrian bridge crossing Woodruff Avenue. The station will have a center platform located with the existing below-grade structure and will have 3 entrances. And now moving to the eastern section, which is what we've done here, which will go from Blair, and the first stop is Montreal Road. So Montreal Road will be located in the median of 174, but above Montreal Road itself. The station will provide improved access and connections to the Canatech Business Park and the community of Beacon Hill and Blackburn Hamlet. The station will be served by entrances located on either side of Montreal Road. Sidewalks and station entry plazas will be sized appropriately to serve the movements and volumes of pedestrians and cyclists along Montreal Road, bus stops, and passenger transferring from bus to train. Jeanne d'Arc will be a new station integrated with the bridge entrances off either side of the boulevard. The platform will be located below the median of Highway 174. The location of the station entrances have also been carefully coordinated with the future bridge configuration to accommodate all modes of transportation and to provide sufficient public entry space. Moving further east, Orleans Boulevard Station is a new station located where Orleans Boulevard spans the 174, and the platform will also be located below Orleans Boulevard in the median of Highway 174. Like Jeanne d'Arc, the station will be served by two entrances located on either side of the boulevard. Moving a little farther east, Place d'Orleans Station is currently located adjacent to the shopping center and Highway 174 and will serve as a transfer station. The station will have 4 entrances to serve the multiple Desire lines at this location, a connection to the LRT allowing passengers to transfer between bus service and train without passing through fare gates will also be provided. The existing pedestrian bridge will continue to provide a connection from the Park and Ride to Place d'Orleans Shopping Center without having to pass through a fare gate. Moving a little bit more to the east, Trim Road Station will be converted and serve as an eastern terminus of the Confederation line and will be located as well in the median of the 174 at the location of the existing road alignment at Trim. In order to locate the LRT platform at this location, Trim Road will be realigned to the east of the existing facility and an improved intersection will be constructed which will have the capacity to serve all expected future transportation demands to 2038. The bus terminal will be expanded, so too will the Park and Ride facilities to maintain capacity. The station will be served by a single entrance providing access from the Park and Ride area to the station. There will also be a newly fully enclosed bridge connecting the fare paid entrance to the LRT platform. So moving on to construction, EWC's construction schedule will see construction commence for a large part of the tunnel section of the western extension later this year in 2019, followed by the section from Lincoln Fields to Moody and Baseline, with the segment from Dominion to Tunney starting last to minimize the duration of the required detour once buses come out of the transit trench. It should be noted that all major construction works will finish between 6 months and a year ahead of each planned extension's opening. The tunnel along the NCC's Parkway lands and through the Byron Linear Park, as well as the Connaught Tunnel, will be done using a cut and cover technique. To do this, a trench is excavated and roofed over with an overhead support system strong enough to carry the load of what is built above the tunnel. In this case, most of our tunnels will have to support a beautifully enhanced park. In the east, construction between Blair and Montreal Road will start in 2019, with works east of Greens Creek commencing the following year. One of the strengths of the alignment for the western extension was that most of the current transit service will remain operational throughout construction. So between Iris and Dominion, transit service will be relatively unimpacted. The first detours to come into operation will be along the 417 west of Pinecrest Creek corridor to Moody, and these will start in 2022. These will be followed the same year by detours along Woodruff between Algonquin College and Iris, and a detour along Scott Street between Dominion Station and Tunney's. For the eastern extension, with the exception of ramp adjustments at Blair, transit service will also be maintained along the 174 throughout construction. As noted in the applied lessons learned, the city wanted to take full advantage of the Stage 2 procurement to bundle city works with a focus on both efficiency as well as minimizing the potential for contractor conflicts. We have bundled a number of projects estimated at $107 million within the Confederation Line Extension project that are listed here, which came with funding sources outside of the Stage 2 project. And now moving on to Transit Next's vision for the extended Trillium Line. The Trillium Line South extension will see the existing 8-kilometer line continue an additional 12 kilometers from Greenboro Station to Limebank Road in Riverside South, along with an additional 4-kilometer link to the Macdonald-Cartier International Airport. New stations will be equipped with fare vending machines and fare gates to be consistent with the fare control system that was recently implemented on the existing Trillium Line. In total, 8 new stations will be added with platforms at the existing 5 stations on the Trillium Line to be lengthened to accommodate the new Stadler vehicles that will service the line. Additionally, the signage, lighting, communication systems will all be upgraded along the entire system. So let's have a quick look at each station. Bayview Station is the nexus point of the O-Train system where customers can transfer between Trillium and Confederation Line. It also serves as the north terminus station. In this image, you can see a new pedestrian bridge that has been bundled into the project to be built to connect into Trinity's new development at their cost. A second track platform will be provided on the east side of the alignment to allow the station to operate as a two-track station, creating enhanced operational flexibility, including the potential to accommodate an extension to Gatineau. The two platforms will be connected with a partially enclosed walkway to improve customer access and comfort. A new entrance and plaza will allow access from pathways west of the alignment, with elevators and a stairway to access the fully enclosed pedestrian bridge, connecting to future retail and along to Albert Street. Gladstone Station will be a new station located north of Gladstone Avenue. Here's a view from track level where you can see how the entrance will be centered above the alignment with the new station plaza integrated with the existing Gladstone Avenue bridge. The eastern edge of the station's public plaza will be separated from the north-south MUP with landscape and design elements to prevent pedestrian and cyclist